that we have punishments also. So we'll see punishments today. All right. There was this question, in fact, in 2021 March, April exam. Explain various types of punishments to which offenders are liable under IPC. Okay. So now, before starting with the different types of crimes which are there in IPC, IPC provides for this list of punishments that may be provided. Okay, there are total of 6 different types of punishments which apply: death, imprisonment for life, imprisonment for a specified duration which may be rigorous or simple, forfeiture of property, fine, and solitary confinement. In total, under IPC, we have 6 classifications. Out of these, first 5 are mentioned under section 56 of IPC. Okay, section 56 provides for these 5 types. Plus one more type is given in section 76, which is solitary confinement. So in total, if we calculate, there are 6 types of punishments, but because for solitary confinement, there are like a lot many guidelines, rules, and other things that needs to be followed. It's given like separately. Okay, so these are the different types of punishment. So what is the first one? Death as a punishment. Death penalty. Death penalty as a punishment. What is it?
It's a capital punishment only given to rarest of the rare cases.
Only rarest of rare cases, yes. Anything
and in India,
only
by hanging is allowed.
Yes. So is it public hanging, private hanging? How is it?
Not by public hanging, only within the confines of the prison.
Okay. Yeah. So first one is death penalty, which is, yes, in many other countries, different modes of killing a person may be applied, but in case of India, we just have hanging, which is permitted. Okay, so we just have hanging, which is permitted, and that too, it will be applicable in case of rarest of rare crimes only, not like in every single case it can be given, even though punishment is provided. Like in case of death, if we see, punishment may be death penalty also, but in not every single case wherein someone kills another, death penalty is not given. It has to be like rarest of rare cases where death penalty is given. Like that Nirbhaya gang rape case which happened in Delhi, their death penalty was given. Recently also there was something on news regarding this death penalty which was like ordered to women. Have you heard that from UP? Shabnam, a woman named...
No, ma'am.
No, right? Okay, so what happened is, you can read that case, in fact, state of UP versus Shabnam. Okay, Shabnam versus state of UP. So there was this case wherein it was like in UP, okay, there were these 2 families. One was Shabnam, and there was another person who was like she was having a relationship with him, but he was, I think, some cab driver or something. And Shabnam, on the other hand, everyone was like some teacher in government school, something. Everyone was like in teaching profession, and she was like a teacher in some government school. Okay, so, and I guess some like religion or caste issue was also there. I'm not very sure. So this was like a major thing, that he is a cab driver, not that educated, and on the other hand, in her family, everyone is like from the education background, and she was also a teacher in government school and everything. Okay, so her family was like not accepting this relation. So a few years went by, she was trying to convince, they were not ready to accept it. After that, she was pregnant, okay, and she wanted to convince, they were not convinced. So one day what she did is, in like at night, right, while having dinner, she mixed poison in the food which was like served to the family. Okay, in her family, it
Okay.
was like mother, father, brother, sister-in-law, and then their kids also, 1 or 2 kids were also there. So what she did is, total 7 members, I guess, to everyone, she gave poison in the food. So everyone had that thing in like dinner, and they all like slept off. And then she called her boyfriend, and both of them killed all the family members, okay, including like a kid, which was I think some 3-4 years of the brother. She killed everyone. And after that, what happened is that, like they were, I think, like clueless or something. They called the neighbors and everything, and they were like, okay, they just died, and this happened, that happened. And then finally, like she was saying that this, her boyfriend, right, he just came and killed all the family members. And he was like, no, we both killed. Then she killed, like that. It went on for like few months. And then after investigation, police came to know that, yeah, this is only what has happened. Both of them killed all the 7 family members. So case was filed. It went to the trial court. They gave death penalty. Then it went to High Court, Supreme Court. Everyone confirmed death penalty. They went for this mercy petition also. It was rejected. And by the time, she also had her baby. Okay, so she was going to the court and praying that, okay, fine, you give death penalty to this, my boyfriend, but to me, you just, like excuse it because I have this kid whom I need to take care of. Right? Then court said that no, you have killed your like brother's kid, right? Who was like very innocent, just a kid. He was not even aware of what's going on. You still killed that baby. So what like take care you would do for your like own kid, right? And anyways, like some friend of her was taking care of the kid. So Supreme Court and every other court just confirmed that thing, that yes, death penalty is only like the right punishment to be given. Okay, so that again was like a rarest of rare case, wherein in one single day 7 family members were killed by both of them like combined. Even the kid was not uh like even the kid they killed. So those would be the cases wherein death punishment would be given, because other punishment would not justify it. It's so severe, right? So that's the first type of punishment which we have. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And here, right, you would see this, if you read any judgment, okay, of wherein death penalty is announced, you would see this is written that hang till the person dies. Okay, because what might happen is sometimes, take for example, someone is, like the officials who are there to execute the order, they are trying to hang the person and kill him. What if something goes wrong and the person do not die in the first attempt? Okay, in such cases in earlier times, it was like, because it's like hang this person, as in you can only hang once, whether the person dies or not, you cannot do it twice, because we have this concept, right, that like a person can be punished only once for the crime which he has committed, right? For one crime, only one punishment. So once you try to hang this person, if somehow it was unsuccessful, you cannot repeat it twice. Okay, and it was also considered like as if God is giving some signal that this person is innocent and he should not die, and all that thing was believed. So right now it's like they would mention it clearly, hang till he dies. If you need to try 100 times also, it's fine. This person should die. That's the ultimate aim. Okay, that's how it is written.
Yes, ma'am.
And you will see like there is this convention, UN Convention on Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman and Degrading Treatment and Punishment. Okay, there is this convention. So for international conventions, it's like the country can decide, right, whether they want to ratify the convention or not. So we have this Convention, United Nations Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel, Inhuman, and Degrading Treatment and Punishment, which is ratified by 83 countries already. Okay, it was ratified, and it started from like 1985, but still India has not ratified this convention. Okay, why? Because any idea why India has not ratified, even if there are 83 countries which already ratified it?
Because we will have to then abolish this capital punishment.
Yes. So once we ratify it, we need to abolish death penalty from the national law. So that's the reason why this is not done, because the provision should be there, because sometimes other punishments might not justify. So in rarest of rare cases, it is necessary. That's why India has not even ratified it. So this is the first type of punishment which we have. So there are this case was there, Jagmohan Singh versus State of UP, wherein it was said that death penalty is unconstitutional and it is invalid. As a form of punishment, it is invalid. But a constitutional bench of Supreme Court consisting of 5 judges dismissed this appeal, and they said that death penalty imposed after trial in accordance with procedure established by law is not unjustified, it's not unconstitutional, it's not going under against Article 21. Any idea what is Article 21?
Article 21 provides the right to life.
Right to life. So are there any exceptions where this right to life can be taken away?
Yes, ma'am. If by law, capital punishment can be given and it can be taken away.
Yes, so through a proper procedure which is established, this may be taken away. So they said that death penalty as such is not unconstitutional if it is happening after trial, right? They have seen all the evidences, witnesses are examined, everything happened. After end of the trial, if death penalty is given, that's not unconstitutional. So in India, we have lot many provisions wherein death penalty is there. And in Bachchan Singh versus State of Punjab, it upheld validity of death penalty, but court restricted the provisions of death penalty in rarest of rare cases only. Okay, next on imprisonment for life. So what is that?
Imprisonment till all his life, he should be in jail. He should be imprisoned.
So any provision to release the person before that?
Only by presidents, clear to the president, they can be released.
Yeah, president or governor is having the power, they can reduce it also. So yes, imprisonment for life, technically it means entire lifetime, remaining lifetime of the person. But because jails are already overcrowded, plus we believe on this theory that people can reform themselves into a better human being. So there is no use of, like just letting the person stay in the prison, but the person can do much better things in his life. So it's like after a certain point, there is a possibility that the person might have reformed himself into a better human being. So we can just release the person before that also. And for the purpose of calculating this year, right, like for IPC, in many provisions, it's very much needed to know like the maximum punishment. Okay, so if life imprisonment is given, the year we need to calculate, right? Because someone may survive for 1 year, someone may survive for like 90 years also. So for the purpose of calculation, it's considered as 20 years, that if it's life imprisonment, it's counted as 20 years, and then based on that the calculations are done. But yeah, technically speaking, it means imprisonment for lifetime only, but the person may be released after serving 14 years of imprisonment. He may be released also.
Okay.
And imprisonment for life, whenever it's given, it's always rigorous imprisonment. It cannot be simple imprisonment. For a lot many provisions, we get life imprisonment. Okay, what about this one? Imprisonment for a fixed time. And what is simple and rigorous imprisonment?
Simple means very light duties may be given in the prison, and rigorous means hard labor. The prisoner will be subjected to do hard labor in the prison.
Yes. So simple imprisonment. Yeah.
And the crime will be for rigorous, it will be a grave offense.
Yes. For rigorous imprisonment, it's usually the serious crimes wherein it is given. So both of these may be for a fixed duration, and duration would vary, right? Some maximum duration would be given. Within that, anything may be given by the judge. So both these may be simple, also rigorous. Also simple will be some simple labor like baking cookies or things like that, preparing some handmade things. But in case of hard labor, it's like hard labor, breaking big stones and stuff that we see in movies. Those things are there. That is the third classification of punishment, which is most common. Mostly we see this only. Then we have forfeiture of property. So forfeiture implies the loss of property of the accused. Under this punishment, state will seize the property of the criminal. It is the result of wrong or default which is caused by the person. The property forfeited may be movable or immovable. So forfeiture, in case of forfeiture, his property may be taken because he has done something using those properties of his. So it would be seized by the government as well. So there are these provisions 126, 127, 125. These are where this punishment is given. Okay, fifth type of punishment is fine. So when we talk about fine, right, and we see the IPC, there may be certain provisions wherein it just talks about fine, that this is not like a very serious crime. So punishment may be 500 rupees fine, 2000 rupees fine, like that provision will be there. Same ways, there may be certain crimes wherein it will say that it may be either imprisonment or fine. Okay, either one can be given. And sometimes for serious crimes, it will be like punishment and fine. Okay, so punishment may be only the sole, fine may be the sole punishment given. It may be along with imprisonment, or it may be in alternative, right? Either you give imprisonment or fine. Like that also it may be given. For some crimes, we would see, like for very less number of crimes, we would see IPC has mentioned the amount of fine also, that it should not exceed 2000 rupees, it should not exceed 5,000, 10,000 rupees. But for majority of the offenses, it's like simply they have mentioned fine, whatever the judge feels, judge can provide that. Okay. This part is clear, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So last one is solitary confinement. Solitary confinement as in one person is kept in prison, but he is confined alone. There is no one else with whom he can talk to. Otherwise, inside prison, it's like a college hostel itself, right? People would be sitting together, they would be doing so many activities together. There will be, in some places there will be TV and stuff also, they would have food, do things like that it is. But solitary confinement means they don't have access to other people, they are kept all alone, because it's realized that if a person is kept all alone, all by himself, self-realization would happen much faster and easier. Even for normal people, there is something called as Vipassana, right? Have you heard of that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
You have heard, right?
Meditation.
Meditation. So there also, like normal meditation is at one level. Vipassana is like they would not talk to anyone. They would all by themselves, no phone, nothing, no connection with outside world. They would just go and stay there for a week. And whoever comes back from Vipassana, they would be like, it's a life-changing experience. Why life-changing? Because they got the the self-realization, right? They got an opportunity for that. Same thing, there is a possibility of happening it over here. But then, like, people have this, people are different, right? It's not like everyone is same. Whoever is going for Vipassana, mostly they are going at their own interest. That means they are of that kind of people who can meditate, who can go there, who would enjoy that experience. But there may be another section of people who are, there are people, right, who would be very much talkative. They cannot stay all by alone. They would go mad, basically, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Some people would need, like, might be attention of people. There are some people, right, who would seek attention. So there are so many different types of people. When we are talking about solitary confinement, it's not that the person is getting to choose that. Person is not saying that keep me all by alone, but it is given to him as a punishment. So we need to consider that it may, like, it may affect the person in a very negative way also. That's the reason
Yes.
why for solitary confinement, we have a lot of guidelines that needs to be followed, just to ensure that while we were trying to do good, it does not, like, adversely impact the criminal. That's the thing.
In many cases, solitary people who are confined solitarily become more aggressive also.
Become more
Aggressive.
Yes, that's the thing, right? Might be those people were not of that category who would meditate and stuff. They would be like the other one, right? So that's why it should be given, like, with a lot of taking a lot of precautions and stuff. So this is what we have roughly the provisions, that if the term of imprisonment is less than or up to 6 months, like up to maximum 6 months duration, in such cases, solitary confinement shall not exceed 1 month. Out of 6 months or out of whatever duration, only 1 month may be solitary confinement. If term of imprisonment is more than 6 months but less than 1 year, then period of solitary confinement shall not exceed 2 months. If it is more than 1 year, then solitary confinement may be up to 3 months only. On top of that, it has to be followed that a person must be convicted for an offense under this code, because if it is like a person is convicted under provisions of negotiable instruments act for check bounce, it's not that major an offense, right? For that you cannot, like, give solitary confinement as a punishment, because the legislation do not even talk about that punishment, right? So we are only talking about IPC. And yes, if there are any other legislations where solitary confinement is there also it may apply. But just because it's given in IPC, other laws, it would not apply. Because there are so many laws, even in case of labor laws, there are too many labor laws wherein it imposes, like, criminal responsibility on a person. But even though it's criminal, it's not that serious of a crime also. So it just confined to the provisions of IPC, the offenses given under IPC. The offense must be one for which court has the power to sentence the accused to rigorous imprisonment. For simple imprisonment, it does not apply. For rigorous only, it will apply. So these provisions need to be followed while providing punishment. Okay, and this is given in section 74 of the legislation. And solitary confinement, when it is awarded, right, at one stretch, it should not be for more than 14 days. So even if for this one, right, a person was given like 6 months of imprisonment, and out of this 1 month he is kept like solitary confinement, there it should not be like altogether 1 month. It has to be like 14 days maximum. Okay, and when the imprisonment is less than 3 months, solitary confinement shall not exceed 7 days in 1 month for the whole imprisonment. Basically, you need to, like, divide, and that's how you need to give this type of punishment. So this is on the punishments part. This is clear, right?
Yes, ma'am. 6 times. Last week, I think there was a judgment given wherein the judge pronounced that he punishing a bus driver who was responsible for the death of 19 people. should be sentencing the driver for a period of 190 years.
Period of 190. Sorry, period of
190 years.
Okay.
For each of the death being caused.
Okay.
There were 19 people and 10 years for each person. So how is it justified, ma'am?
The person needs to survive that long, first of all, to serve his punishment. What was the name? Do you remember the name?
Just a minute, ma'am. It's Shamsuddin.
Okay. Can you spell it?
Yes, HAM. Yes, you.
Yeah.
Something versus Gyanendra, I think.
Okay, I'll check that. Recent one, right?
Yes, ma'am. Madhya Pradesh Sessions Court judge. First additional sessions judge.
Okay, I'll see that. Right, there would be so many things, and then at the end of the day, right, whatever they are ordering after that also, like people would escape. Have you seen that movie Rustam?
No, ma'am, no.
No, okay. Do you watch Hindi movies? Like, do you understand Hindi?
Yes, ma'am, I watch. I know Hindi.
Okay. So you can watch that. It's a good one, based on a real case.
Okay, ma'am.